Okay, I'll be in the crossfire.
Alright.
You got that fashionable shade, you can show it on camera.
Sorry.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is now 7:10 p.m. Thank you, Christian. Would the members of the housing committee like to introduce themselves to the general crossfire?
Hey everyone, Chris Lubo, I'm on
Sorry.
the housing committee. Thanks for coming.
Hey, I'm Drew Johnston, also on the housing committee. Thanks for coming today.
And that is it currently, but for sure we're gonna try to. Alright. Let's start off with 245 Clarkson Avenue project. Is there anyone here from the project? Yes. Hello. Hi, how are you? Good, everyone. My name is Shannon Shaw. I am with Heartshare. Shannon Shaw. Yes, I'm with Heartshare, and I also have our team, some people who are also working on the project tonight. I'll have them introduce themselves as well. This is
Hi, Melissa Fry. I'm the Senior Vice President for Real Estate for Heartshare Human Services and Safety Facilities.
so the stage so the camera so everyone at home can see.
Oh,
Okay.
forgive me. That part.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
being broadcast on YouTube right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm Shannon.
Tell us about your project.
So I'm with Heartshare. So Heartshare is, we've been around for about 165 years in total. And so we've served in mostly two populations, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as children and families impacted by the child welfare system. There should be a PowerPoint presentation there, but if you don't have one, it's also in front of you.
I think Dante sent an email asking whether or not we have an HDMI.
Yes,
It's on there?
I emailed it.
Okay.
I can also look it up on my computer here, in case you want it.
This one.
That's mine.
That's yours.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So Clarkson Avenue project
Yes.
and Clarkson Estates and 245, they're all different things?
They're two different projects. Can you
So
share?
245 is the Heartshare?
Yes, that's right.
Can you share? You can.
Yes.
Problem.
Alright. So, that's okay, right?
It's okay.
Okay, so Heartshare, 245 Clarkson, that is the housing project that we are presenting today to you. Okay. So who are we? So Heartshare, we've been around for a very long time. We have a very strong hold in Brooklyn. We serve people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and also children and families impacted by the foster care system. We have a full service of support from birth. We also have kids who are in foster care. We have residences, as well as several medical services. We have an Article 31 clinic that's mental health support, and an I-29 clinic that also serves people in foster care. We have been, so I don't know if you guys have heard of the Newsies. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So that's actually based on, or people who lived in our agency way back when. So we're actually, like, as innovators, the first nonprofit, the first agency like ours back in the day to actually offer services to kids with HIV and AIDS. And so we are supported and funded by OPWGD and ACS. And that covers the bulk of, like, normal, but then additionally, what we do, we're innovative, and so we actually we innovate in a way to make sure that we provide a sense of normalcy for the people we serve. And so we have a lot of services here. Today we serve about 10,000 people in total, and we do some really unique things, like we launched the first ever alumni network to support kids who are aged under foster care in New York City. I don't know if you've seen, what is that thing called, Coach Carter? Or even Finding Forrester. So that young man who was besides Sean Connery, he grew up in care as well. He came back 2 years ago to become the chair of this the co-chair of our alumni network. And so we're digging deep into our history of excellence by not necessarily shifting, but like compounding on this work by creating even further support for kids and families who, experience instability. This is the core of our work, yes. I don't know if you have any questions on here, but we really want to talk about who we are and why this project really shifts into our circle of support. And so we have, like I said, very strong Brooklyn footprint. We actually serve 1,200 people within Community Board 9's district through, that's the communities around here. That's through the medical support, foster homes. We have some supportive housing that's like, not supportive, SILP, was it? Independent living programming for young people who are aging out of foster care who do not have traditional supports, no family, friends, all that. And so just like how you want to create that like bottom where if your kids need support, we try to create that in the most formalized way. Yes, client-centered, so we have some stronghold here. And yeah. And so we are HeartShare, and in the next phase of what we're doing here to bring this housing project, which is 245 Clarkson, we have our development partner. And Ben, sorry, I just wanted to speak. Just go it for a little bit so you don't block the camera.
Sorry. Hello, everybody. I'm Benjamin Warnke. I'm here with Jenny Marone. We are working in partnership with HeartShare on this project. That's what we do. We work in partnership with community-based nonprofit organizations to help them realize their real estate aspirations. And we've completed about 30 of these types of projects. The slide right there is the new Inwood Library. In Inwood, we created a new New York City public library and 175 units of housing above that. And that's the kind of project that we've done in New York and in New Orleans. We have an office in New Orleans as well, but we've developed over 3,000 units of housing, about 300,000 square feet of community facility space. And we do that in partnership, as I was saying, with not-for-profit organizations and with communities. And delighted to be here this evening. I don't live in Community Board 9, I live in Community Board 8, so please forgive me.
Not far.
Very, very modest. I think we have a very strong foot in like the supportive services and all that, and Ben and his team they're really good at what they do. It's also unique because you work with service providers like ours. We know not much about this, but and so next we go into why here, like why we're doing this. And so I've attended a lot of your meetings. We have been very thoughtful in ensuring that we're not just creating something that just bulldozes into your community, but also matches your meets whatever it is. But it's like responsive to not just the community, but also overall like New York City. So we have this long-standing support to make sure that we create like sustainable community-based supports for people, the populations we serve. Affordable housing that's here that goes against the displacement that we see too often. And I know we've had a lot of I've attended meetings. I know this team is very steadfast in making sure that anything that comes in does not disrupt what you want here. And it builds on our proven services to help residents remain housed and thrive. Right now, this project does prioritize youth who are aging out of foster care and other vulnerable residences. And just to add another stat that just ties this together is each year, 429 youth age out of foster care in New York City. And within 1 year, 33% of those youth face homelessness. This stat actually came from a report that was written with Fair Futures. It is an advocacy group of people who are formerly in care who are experiencing this. And actually one of our young people who grew up in care at HeartShare is here tonight, and she co-authored this report. I'd love for her to talk for a little bit. Just introduce herself.
Yeah, sure.
My name is
Hi,
Cheyenne.
everyone. Sorry for being a few minutes late. There was traffic on the way here, and I live now in West Harlem. I used to actually live 2 blocks away from here, so it's good to be back in the neighborhood. But yeah, I was in Hartshire when I was 15 years old in the child welfare system, and when I aged out, my placement kind of fell through when I was almost into homelessness. And so I got into one of these supportive housings, and it was an amazing opportunity for me because, you know, aging out of the foster care system and being in the foster care system, I wanted a place of my own. But I lived in 4 placements, and they were not the best of quality. And I feel like when you're a young person growing up, or anybody growing up, as like a teenager, 20-year-old, you want your own space, you want it to be clean, you want to be able to cook, go to school, go to work. And I was doing full-time work and full-time school in college, both at the same time. And when I lived in like these apartments, these supportive housing apartments, they were low quality. I had like mice all the time, and I had roaches, and it was just not the best place for me to like start my journey into adulthood. So I feel like this is really, really important because after talking to like the speaker of the city council, she kind of moved me out of those buildings, and I live in a great building right now. And I feel like where you lie your head at night is really how you kind of live your life. When I lived in those apartment buildings, I was ashamed to bring my friends over. I was ashamed to have friends. I feel like I wasn't able to cook. I wasn't able to store my things properly, and I just felt like it reflected on my self-esteem and my self-worth. So I feel like this housing option and the housing option that I live in right now in West Harlem is a great opportunity for me to like be able to cook, be able to store my food, learn these things that you're supposed to learn in adulthood, and have your own space and invite friends over. And so it's really, really important to have quality, safe buildings in great neighborhoods that have space for these young people to thrive, because they're just like me, like we just need a stepping stone to grow into adulthood. And I don't know, I was supposed to say, I'm Cheyenne, and I go to NYU right now, and I'm doing my master's in public administration. And thank you. And I worked in a think tank for the past 2 years doing this kind of analyzation of housing where youth are living in right now, and taking it to city council and kind of writing bills with city council and being in cahoots with them of how to make housing a option and kind of like a priority for city council. Nice. Thank you.
And Cheyenne is one of a couple other young people who formed a youth advisory board. I remember at one of our initial conversations, we met with Councilmember Rita Joseph, who she was like, I want to make sure someone who's an advocate and big supportive of those who are, you know, in foster care and agent of foster care, because I don't want you to make this for them. I want you to make this with them. So we had a youth advisory board. So we actually did a listening session with a couple of young people who are like, you'd say like the potential tenants for a project like this. And so the architects, the development partners, we all came together and we had to make sure that we get their input, because we need to understand yours. And there was some feedback that we got that, like, even the architect was like, wow, I've been doing this for a while, and that's a feedback I'd never gotten. So we're trying to be as inclusive as possible, and that's why we're here, so you can hear us out. All right. And so analyzing your priorities, I'm not sure these have been updated, but from my experience coming to the meetings, looking at your agendas and any manifests that's come out, we've looked at like what are your priorities, and then just see how those priorities are going to help us advance our goal as we shift into supporting these people with housing, and as much as possible in this way we want to work with you to achieve your goal as the community, as the housing committee.
How are tenants selected? Wait, are you?
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
Okay,
But yes,
so
absolutely.
I'll wait.
Alright. Alright, and you have this overview on your sheet, and I know that there's gonna be questions here, but the jurisdiction project summary, of course, is 11 stories, 135 units. It's mixed use. I know you had a question, Suki, about something you saw online. I think that is incorrect. You saw it online as 60%.
The buildings department is showing your building as being about 60% community facility and 40% residential.
That's incorrect. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm unsure, but we can always come back and figure out why it's saying that.
Yeah, I'll email it to you if you give me your.
Thank you.
If you just look at that picture, the second floor up, that's entirely residential.
And we're going through, we're pursuing geothermal energy, and our funding sources show a significant level of support. We have support at the city council level through Rita Joseph, in collaboration with the borough president. We've secured some Resolution A funding through them, and we've also gotten some state funding, and we are, with more support, we're looking to close by the end of 2026. Any questions there? Alright, of course, mixture of affordability and supportive housings ranging from 30 to 80% AMI. And this aligns with HPD and HDC affordable housing standards. And the supportive units will support people who are chronically homeless, has some mental health or substance abuse issues as the head of household, and young adults who are also at risk, so or population that we serve for people who are out of foster care. And there will be a on-site social services office that's going to support these people as well. Yes. And for amenities, we're going to have a 24/7. We have a super unit, and we have a community room for tenant use, and bike storage. And on the second floor, there's a terrace, like a rooftop terrace, and a ground floor that we are going to use for some sort of like facility, a ground floor facility space that we're considering, whatever programming that aligns with our services that we offer, but also aligns with the needs of the community.
What about parking?
Parking, no, we will not provide parking.
What's the breakdown in between supportive, affordable, and market apartments?
60% supportive, 40% affordable, and that's the entire building.
Okay, so and the supportive goes into the affordable bucket?
Right, so the building is income averaging, so at the end of the day, we're gonna be below 60% AMI as the building as a total.
Oh.
But as far as the units go, we've put aside 60% of the units for supportive housing, primarily the 2 bedrooms and the studios for the youth aging out of care, and the families that we plan to support in the building, and then we have additional units for the affordable.
So that was one of my questions. So we've been talking a lot about the youth that are aging out of foster care, but I saw the tagline that one of the bullets focused on family members where the head of the family has mental health issues or chronic homelessness.
A substance abuse or mental health issue. Yes.
Okay, so how many of the units are going to be targeting that population versus the foster care?
I think that's the
Children or the developmental?
Yeah, I think that's the majority of the 2-bedroom units earmarked for families.
So 67.
Yeah, and I can also, spend a minute talking about that because we do that right now. The only difference is we do it through a scattered site model instead of a congregate site model. Danielle Mack is here. Danielle is over our supportive housing program.
Hi, everyone.
And can talk a little bit about the supports that we provide because I'm sure that safety is a concern and how we're gonna make sure that the building is taken care of. So we can talk a little bit about that too.
Because this is one of several buildings that are gonna be in this small area, and so that's a big concern for the current homeowners and residents in that area, how it's gonna be maintained, the security, on-site support, because they're concerned about who they already have in the community and who else is being introduced to the community, so that's why.
Right, I can speak to that. Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Mack. I'm the Senior Program Director for the Supportive Housing Services
Okay, great.
at HeartShare. So right now, we currently operate 6 supportive housing scattered site apartments. We have about 150 of our young adults. We offer many services. We have a mental health clinic currently operating at our main office. We also have groups every month. We have life skills groups. We have vocational. We have case management. The case managers only have 15 tenants each, which is better for them to assess them and support them. We also offer harm reduction strategies. So we really work really closely with the landlords and the tenants, and this is not like all of our tenants in one building, which is even better to service our tenants. We're actually operating well with scattered site. So our tenants are in the community, they are living with families, people who have families, people who have children, and they also have children themselves. We have young adult programs, we have children who age out of foster care. We also have individuals who are coming out of incarceration. We also service individuals with mental health. So we do a lot, and we've been doing this for about 25 years.
But now this is gonna be one building with everybody in it, so what kind of support are they gonna have here versus a
Right.
scattered site model?
So it will be very similar, but to be honest with you, this will all be centralized. So instead of having a case manager running around, going to see somebody here, going to see someone there, going to do a hospital visit, going to a supermarket or a pantry or HRA to assist a client, everything will be in one building. Your social worker will be there 24 hours a day. You'll have somebody in the building, security. We'll also have other services, emergency services if necessary. So we'll have a lot more services all centralized. We have a community room where we can actually not have to call tenants out and go out to the community and say, hey, come to our office, gather here where we can support you in vocational or support you in your mental health or anything. We have everything in one building where we can do our life skills and workshop sessions.
One
Yeah,
quick
actually-
question. Okay, go ahead.
So I have to go to another meeting, just a quick land use question. This building I understand is not asking for a zoning change. It's quite a big building for the area, it's 11 stories. We understand the density of the building is as high as it is because of the City of Yes affordable housing bonus, is that correct? You're tapping into that?
We added a few units because of that, but we were largely at almost an 11-story building even prior to City of Yes. I think we added on five or 7 units from
Well,
City
because
of
my
Yes.
understanding is without the City of Yes bonus, you're at the, you're in an R6 zone, right? And you're not at, so the maximum that you're getting under that is maybe a 3 density, and it looks like you're at a 4.5. So you wouldn't be able to get really higher than 3 times the lot size.
We can show you the zoning
Yeah,
analysis.
if you can send
Yeah.
us the zoning analysis, but
It's
in any
actually, I
case-
think we got 6 additional units with City of Yes. It's not that
Because-
big a boost.
because you can't actually, right, and maybe this goes to the community facility versus residential. It looks like whoever did your building plans is trying to tap into the community facility bonus, but that's not actually available when you're doing residential. But we can, discuss that later. I think the question I wanted to ask is, even under the density that you have, I'm wondering, like, what was the decision to make it 11 stories as opposed to, say, 8 or 9, which you could do with higher lot coverage? It looks like you're only doing maybe about 40% lot coverage, and that's why the building is taller. Because the community often raises concerns about the size of the building, and so I think something that's more along the lines of 8 or 9 stories would be closer to, I think, what would fit in with the community. So I'm just wondering if that's something that you would consider, is in lowering the height of the building, or if that's fixed.
That's fixed, and we would certainly, we're very interested in working with the community. We're always interested in working with the community. One of the things that we did, and as part of that effort, is to make sure that there is a higher percentage of 2 bedrooms than we ordinarily would have in a building like this. I'm not sure that, we'll show you the zoning. I think you'll see that the difference between the City of Yes zoning and the prior zoning is not as significant as you're suggesting.
So I'm wondering, even under the density that you're tapping into, right, it's a 4.5 density. So if you did a 50% lot coverage, that would be a 9-story building. If you did 60%, maybe it would be an 8-story building. So I'm wondering why you chose to make it an 11-story building.
I'm happy to share the zoning analysis and to bring our architect to talk to you about that. I think that it is not, the difference is not between an 8-story building or 11-story building. I think we're looking between at a 10-story building and a 10.5-story building.
Okay, so what is your total density that you're looking at? Because online it's showing 4.5. Are you looking at a higher total density than that?
We didn't have the architect with us tonight to address
Okay.
some of the zoning questions get pretty
Okay.
complicated in terms of
Okay.
all of the layer, like you said, the city of yes and the
Okay.
footprint and the
Yeah.
setbacks and all of that, so.
Okay, well, if you could email our office an updated copy of the zoning diagram, because it looks like what you filed online with the buildings department is completely inaccurate, which is a little bit concerning.
Can you
If
come
you're
to the
saying that-
ULIP committee as well tomorrow?
I'm sorry?
We're meeting tomorrow, the ULIP committee, land use committee.
Well, we
Would that
may
be
not, we
something
have
that
a
the
couple other
architects-
presentations, so we may not have time, but if you could just email the documents to the office, we'd appreciate it.
So we can move it. Please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My question was, the different programs that they have, are they mandatory programs?
No, it's voluntary. We have contracts with DOHMH and OMH, and also with HUD.
So, when it comes to the tenants that may be mentally challenged, if there's no, what are the guardrails to help them do what they need to do? Because sometimes you don't, anyway, going to the gym or whatever it is, you may not do what you need to do. So how do they get kicked out of the like, what are the guardrails and how,
So-
do they have to stay there? Like, what if they decide, you know what, I'm not gonna go to therapy? Do they have to give up the apartment, or what happens? at
Well,
that
we
point?
work from a trauma-informed lens. Obviously, we don't want anyone to consider being
Right.
into homelessness. So we do work very closely with our youth and our tenants to make sure that they're stable. We speak to their therapists. If they have therapy, we get an ACT team involved if necessary. We have AOT orders where you have to go to court. So we have different measures depending on the severity of each situation and what they're experiencing. Normally, with the caseload so low for each tenant, they usually have a really good rapport with their worker and they're able to assess those situations prior to it getting out of control.
I have a question. Are the majority of the tenants gonna be from Community Board 9 or neighboring community boards?
They will be from neighboring community boards. They will be from different places. Because we have a coordinated assessment placement system, which is through HRA, and that's how we usually house our tenants.
So there's no way to ensure that the people living in this community get first dibs?
So there'll be 60% of the units are for supportive tenants and will be populated via referrals. There are, the remaining units will be marketed through HPD Housing Connect 2 lottery. And there is a community board preference through the city for a number of the units.
Oh, I mean for the supportive
For the
tenants.
supportive,
There's no way to guarantee that the people already existing in this community board are our first priority?
Cause the whole,
It would really depend on the eligibility. Because if we have youth that are aging out of foster care, we can't be biased, so the system doesn't allow us to. So the information and the eligibility criteria in which the system comes in, it comes from all over New York City.
I don't think that our issue is that we're trying to be biased, but we have housing issues here, and we don't want our neighbors who may need help homeless. Because now you see them on the street, and then someone else is coming in from outside the community who has priority, and that's where we need to find a balance, and we're hoping we can find a balance that way, because it's not. There's a lot going on in the community between gentrification, between so many other issues, and then now to have, ooh, there's somewhere new that I could live, and you don't qualify for it, even though you've been here maybe your whole life and you're experiencing challenges now.
So that's one of the things that we're afraid of.
Right, because Kings County is right there, and that was supposed to be the premise, right? That people that are treated right in this community could live in this community as well. But now people are coming from outside of the community to take these spaces, and that kind of defeats the purpose of the whole plan.
Yes,
Okay, okay, anyone else have questions? Felice?
So my question is this the only building that you have built? And is it the only building in this community that's being built for this purpose?
Or are there more projects coming along that may help people, that may be more specific to the people in the community?
At this time, this is our only project in this community. Yeah, so, I mean, I'll be honest, it's Hartshire's first project, but we also have wrapped ourselves with a lot of people with a lot of expertise. Alembic, as you heard earlier, has done many projects. So we are not new to the social service area, we're not new to supportive housing, but this is our first time partnering on a building. But again, we have wrapped ourselves with a lot of people who have done this and know what they're doing and are very skilled at this. But I'm not worried about Hartshire's ability to provide the social services that are required because we have a long history of doing that.
And your community won't be excluded from that because they'll still have the same opportunity as anyone else to get into this building. The affordable side, those units will be available for the community, as well if anyone in the community who is experiencing homelessness through sources such as foster care or anything like that, then they will also have an opportunity. It's not excluding the neighborhood. It's actually integrating.
Question?
Thank you all for coming and presenting. I think that this is the type of housing that we need, but I think it's the wrong location. Between 2021 and today, there have been 1,000 units of housing on Clarkson Avenue between Flatbush and New York. All of the housing coming up in CB9, or seemingly the majority of the housing coming up on CB9, is right on Clarkson between Flatbush and New York Avenue. This is an avenue that used to have a church on it, used to have standalone houses on it. Nowadays, people are ordering stuff on Amazon. They don't go buy things out in the store anymore. The amount of noise pollution and traffic and trucks, in addition to the bus that runs down Clarkson Avenue. So the amount of traffic coming down Clarkson, this feels like it's going to add to that in a big way. And I've been on the community board for several years, about 5 years. I've never seen the project discussed in a way in which this is something we're thinking about and we want to talk about it with you, the community board. And when it's presented like this, with the picture of the 11 stories, which would make it the largest of these 1,000 units that have been built already in the last 5 years, it's presented to us a little bit like it's a fait accompli, which is a shame, because I think it's exactly the type of housing that we need. But I think that it could be done in a way that is more collaborative and is also just one block up or one block south, so that the amount of traffic that we already have on Clarkson isn't added to it through an 11-story building.
And that's exactly right. I think that the concern of the young lady over here in terms of who gets to be in these buildings. If you're not from the community, look, we have experienced a lot of gentrification here. We have experienced people getting their names on lotteries that never get a unit for them to live in those buildings. And so you would understand the concern that a project like this that excludes, and maybe the word exclude is not the right one, but sort of like puts the units in a lottery system, which there is no guarantee that someone who lives in this district for the longest time is ever going to see one of these units, especially if they're in need. And that's a valid concern. That's a valid concern because I've seen how those lottery things work, and they just absolutely, to me, it's a sham, right? Because there are people that are actually getting to these lottery units that have never lived in Brooklyn. I know a few that never lived in Brooklyn, but they just happen to be in that building with a rent that is probably not exactly for them because they probably make too much money, and that person over there who makes $50,000 and below can't get in that building. So it's a valid concern, and I hear what he's saying because We cannot continue to build buildings in our community that does not address that issue of people making less than what they can afford in a building. $50,000 a year, somebody living in a building, this probably doesn't apply to you, but it's the same concern that when developers come into an area like this and build buildings, we're left holding the bag. Because if somebody's making $50,000 a year, we know they're not gonna be able to get into that building. So we are left holding the bag in this community, always building more than we can really afford in this community, and not allowing people to have a decent place to live. Because when you have to invest 20 to 25% of your take-home pay after taxes, you really don't have any money left over. And he's right. This is probably one of the type of development we need in our community that allow people to live a decent life. But we have to take that into account, because I think that's very important to us.
Were there any other sites that were considered aside from Clarkson Avenue?
We spent a long time looking for sites. Sites are very hard to find, as you know. And we certainly understand the concern about community preference, and it's something that we will continue to work with the city council and the city council person about. It's an ongoing discussion, because the city has concerns about fair housing regulations. The number of people that actually need housing, as you know, is through the roof. So it's a complicated and unfortunate issue, and we hear you, and we'll continue to have conversations with the elected officials and do what we can to respond to your concerns.
Hi. Anyone else have any questions, or is there anything else? Or you're done? Yes. Oh, okay. So thank you for coming. Thank you for presenting. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. You've sent the yes. Sure.
Can we continue this conversation? Can you return next month, and we can have more of a dialogue and better understand some of the things that have been raised in terms of the community preferences, but also in terms of the height of the building, and talk some of that stuff through? Or is this that you guys come and
No, we will, next time we'll bring our architect, who can talk about the zoning and address some of those issues, and we will double check community preference percentages and respond to that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Sorry to be late. I just want to disclose that I am a board member for the Housing Committee, and I do also work at Canberra, so I'm going to reserve. Do you have any questions, or no? Okay.
You're welcome to stay. No one's kicking you out. Just let you know.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Oh, the Century Foundation. Next 100 Century Foundation.
Okay.
195 Maple Street. How are you?
Hi. Mine isn't going to be as interesting or involved as that, right?
You never know.
Well, you never know. Good point. Hopefully not. Maybe it's two stories.
is commercial. This is a big plan, so it's not table. I think it is, we started 20 years ago specifically.
What about 7399?
And it's not involved in
Rogers.
Or the old plug and unplug.
We texted, right?
Yeah, and I live.
I have my number, so I can. I think I just have an HDMI built into it. So I can try doing this.
Right.
But sometimes
Yeah. And I'm gonna research that myself.
So that should be.
CHR is a lot of. This is not.
A very
As they go in.
These are yeah, mostly.
I also feel like
But,
that's
this is just.
Yeah,
In order to what is there to go?
Yes. Yes.
I'm ready. I'm Derek Wezahan. I'm at 195 Maple Street, a few blocks away, several blocks away from here. This is to address a modification of my front retaining wall, which is the sort of planter in front of the house. Apparently, we were doing repair work, and a decision was made to bring the front of the house in line with all the other houses on that part of the block. Then I was cited with a violation as a result of this. I thought I was actually doing the opposite, brought back into compliance with it, but apparently I wasn't. I don't know what the source of the violation was, but I am here to correct it and show you what I did, and hopefully nobody has a problem with it. The purpose of the modification was to basically the concrete slab in the front of the house was cracked. So we had concrete work done. The planter was sloped. And so what we did was leveled it out so that it matched the houses on either side and the rest of the block. And to prevent, the purpose was to prevent soil runoff into the street and keep the house matching the other houses around it. So I can show you, this is the house right now as it stands. This is the area that was impacted right here. As you can see, we replaced the concrete because it was damaged. It's not a big job. That's the location right there. It is between Rogers and Bedford on Maple, closer to Rogers. It's within the PLG Historic District. And as you can see, this is the house next door on one side, that's the house next door on the other side. As you can see, the retaining walls are all the same height now. This one has a fence, mine doesn't have a fence, never did. But,
When you say never,
oh, I mean, maybe,
Since
not
you-
since I had had the house, I've been there 3 years, so.
okay.
And I didn't remove, this is what the planter looked like previously in 1941. So you can see the houses around it have had that retaining wall since God knows how long, since well before the landmarks designation. This one apparently had some weird slope thing here. And so as you can see, I mean, there's just like no real way to plant anything in a clean way. And essentially when we bought the house, all there was just ivy growing there. We wanted to be able to plant shrubs and flowers, so we leveled it off to match the ones on either side. And so you can see here are some other houses on the block that all have the same squared off retaining wall in the front. Same thing, squared retaining wall. You know, these are all, you know, I mean, almost every single house on that side of the block looks the way mine does now. You can see they're in various states, but you know, they all have that squared off retaining wall in the front. So, again, you know, to go back to,
We didn't have a before picture before it was repaired.
yeah, this is it right here. That's all I
More
have, it's the one from
recent
19.
one, not
That is
1940.
Oh, I didn't take a picture of it before, I don't think I took a picture of it beforehand.
I think there's one on,
Google?
Oh, there might be, you know what, there might be on, hold on.
Google Maps?
It was,
I searched
Yeah.
Apple Maps and that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else wanna see?
I meant 1941 was a long way back.
It's just that.
let's see.
I just looked it up.
Did you find it?
Then she got it.
Oh, it's Halloween. I have my Halloween decorations up. That's the Google Maps, yeah.
So that one isn't, that one I got on Apple Maps. I just searched the address to see.
Does it
There's
look
no
like this?
Halloween decoration. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
It's like this one or like that one?
no, it's like, you know, a bunch of ivy.
Oh, okay, so that's what.
Yeah, look.
That's it.
See?
Yeah, that's what it looked like, yeah. I think that's what it looked like, yeah, so, yeah. That's probably it, yeah. Yeah, there you go, that's a pretty good indication. So you can see it doesn't match.
So
the other
everybody
house on
can
it.
see what it looks like.
Yeah, please, that's great, thank you, it's actually super helpful.
Please. It was ivy before, basically.
And so the difference now is ivy and the wall is a
Well, I
little
mean, I don't think
higher and.
I don't think Landmarks had a problem with what I had planted there, but
I'm just.
I hope, actually, I
hope
wouldn't
not.
put it past them if they did. Yeah, no, I think the only issue, as far as I know, the only issue they have here is this right here. Is that I leveled this as opposed to leaving it sloped down into the street.
Is that the feedback that they provided?
That's what they gave me. That's the only change that was made, so I mean, if they have another problem.
So what did they give you, like a ticket or something?
They just sent me a letter, yeah.
Do you have the letter?
I don't have the letter, I mean, I have it on my computer someplace, but,
Because you just want to make sure that
yeah.
whatever
You
their
don't
issue
just
was.
understand, right?
Excuse me?
You just wanna understand.
I
No,
mean,
just
I created this PowerPoint with somebody from Landmarks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they basically said, this is what I need to show you, so. And, you know, that was, again, that's the only thing that's changed, that's, you know, that's the modification.
Okay, so they cited you for the modification
For
of
the
the
mod-
slope.
The slope of the planter, yes. Yes, they did.
So what's the problem? Does it not drain or what?
There-
You
there-
know?
there-
Is it not draining? Like
There
why?
is no problem.
It's because
There,
it wasn't approved, or I guess it wasn't
the
communicated
problem
to
is,
the board.
the problem was, it was my mistake. When I did this, you know, we thought we were bringing the house into compliance, historical compliance, because all the other houses had the same retaining wall, and we were doing the opposite and didn't know it. But now the house matches all the other houses on block.
Do you know if any of the other houses were cited at the time that they, I mean, have you spoken
Most
with your
of this
neighbors?
condition predates the historical designation.
It looks like the one on the right in the 1941 photo also has like a,
This one right here?
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same, yeah, and I can show you that same house.
So I doubt that
It's-
one would have been.
I can show you this is the house right here. Right, same house, the one on the right. That's 197 Maple. So, and you know, none of these look like they were done recently, you know. Any questions?
May I ask, who
Yeah.
cited you?
Who did you say cited?
I would love to know. I really
So,
would
but they
love
sent you a
to.
letter, right?
They sent me a letter, somebody made a complaint, I don't know, maybe it was my
So
neighbor.
who sent the
But it
letter
was
to you?
landmarks,
Who was
that's
it
it.
from?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Well,
building,
yeah,
the landmarks,
but-
okay.
But I don't know what the source of the complaint
Oh,
was.
no, you're not, yeah, I'm sure you're not gonna know. I just want to know who sent you the letter.
Yeah,
citing
I
the-
received a
landmarks,
letter from
okay.
Landmarks saying that work
Gotcha.
had been done, it wasn't in compliance, and so I said, what was the work? And then they said, this is what they told me, so.
Okay, so today you're asking us to support the change that was already made.
Yes. Unless there's a reason why there's a problem. Yes.
I'm sorry to be that person, but can we see the letter? Can we
Yeah.
get the physical letter and then once we have like, I'm not on the committee, I'm so sorry
No,
guys.
that's all right.
But like, can we see the letter? Right?
Yeah, I can
Like,
find it.
this sounds a-okay, but just the
Yeah,
clarify.
sure enough, fair enough, yeah.
Just the formality of it, I think that's the.
Yeah, no, no. I got to go, I'm going to the, I can pull it off your website, so. One second.
The RFP that went out for that building across the street from the
Oh, you know, I don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they didn't do the.
Do you have your phone? You can hotspot for it.
Oh, that is, okay, thanks.
And then we go down and then we vote, like, they give a recommendation.
They only did this one. 245, yeah.
And then go to the full board and vote. I vote. That's usually, that's what we. And we're gonna talk about
It's not even, it's not even on the agenda.
District 9
There's something like someone on the committee is from Carrollton.
The one on Franklin?
Yeah.
The one that's across from the park?
Yeah, you know that parking lot is? Parking lot for the MTA, right on the corner where those, where the,
In between the Lincoln.
so it's right on the corner, Ocean and Flatbush.
Yeah, right, and then there's like the Lincoln Market right there.
No.
Lincoln Market's further down.
It's close to where
Wendy's is.
Where,
Yeah, across the street from
where
Wendy's.
Ocean and,
Catty corner from
and
Botanical.
Flatbush merge.
That
Where
empty,
the park is.
there's like a little dentist or like clinic that's right there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and then behind it is the
But there's
parking lot.
land there that,
Right next to
There's like a
that.
little,
yeah. There's land there that's, you know,
it's been empty for a while.
well, they use it as, that's like a special place.
All right, so,
The MTA uses it. But it's a bowl, it's a
But by the
bowl.
41 bus stop,
Yeah,
across from the Wendy's or something.
yeah.
Right above the train
So
station.
it's like behind it,
Like when you come up the train
So right here, it's right here.
but it's like the.
Um,
See, like, here's
Ocean
Wendy's.
on your side.
It's right there. Right here, this is this whole area. This is like the medical plaza.
So it's in between.
It's right
I know this could be very hard to lots.
That's the only one that's listed.
All the info on it is
While
scary.
he's looking for the letter, does anyone have any other questions? Or is anyone gonna ask any other questions aside from the
Pretty
letter?
straightforward, but.
Okay.
Is there a copy of the,
It was of the presentation, it was sent
no,
to
no,
us.
the RFP?
Oh, but we're gonna move on to that next.
Yeah,
But
just cause
there is.
we're talking about it and I just, you know, I don't have it.
What about Clarkson Estates?
Yeah, what's that?
329 Clarkson?
It's not on the agenda.
Oh, it's not on the agenda?
No, that was a part of the 245 Clarkson Avenue project.
It was?
Was it?
No, they
It seems
said
like
it's a
they're-
separate, they said that's not them.
This
So-
is Canvas.
This is Canvas.
Would you, she would know, she was.
Just because she works,
She
that's like
said, "I
saying you
don't
work at
speak for
Madison
them."
Square Garden and you know basketball. Like,
Well, she would know why do we have this?
let me see if I can
It's not on the
something.
agenda.
If anything, we'll add it to the agenda, but I don't,
Is there somebody to speak about it? Like
I
what?
don't think so. Not that I know of.
It might just be an advertisement to note that you can apply for housing. On the back page, they talk about the type of housing that is available.
I don't know how to pull this up. I can pull up the portico with, you know how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oops, better give her a job. Better do the tax.
Well, no, it's not about that. I don't have the right page up.
Oh,
So even if I share it, no, I don't know how to pull it up, yeah. I mean, I can put it onto this, that's fine. The problem is, I don't know how to pull up the actual letter. I don't think the letter was from last year, because I tried to do this last year, and then they closed it out before I could have my community board meeting. And then I had to reapply for the entire thing. And so, I don't know where the original letter is. It was from last year.
You can send it to us.
Yeah, I mean, presuming that this is exactly what I'm saying it is, I just need to know whether you have any problem with this. Anything else would be a separate issue, right?
Correct.
So,
I think that tonight we're supposed to vote in, I can't
You
think
could
of
take
the word.
a vote and then like pending further review of the letter.
Or you could
Okay.
table it and
You
come
don't
back.
have to come back.
I mean, if your vote were just on the narrow context that I gave you and just say, we don't have a problem with the changing of the retaining wall, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's all that's covering me for, right? That's what I'm presenting to you, that's how I'm presenting this to you.
That's
And that's all you have to
my
say, right?
understanding
And
is.
if it becomes more involved than that, and I'm wrong about the scope that they have a problem with, then you're not on the hook for any of that.
Right.
That's, all you've said is the retaining walls, right? So, yeah. But anyway. I can try to, I'll try to see if I can find something else to do.
Hey, I think I got it up here. Yeah, it literally just, the violation text for this is just installation of area way wall without permits. That's all that's mentioned.
That's, yeah, that's what they said, right?
So
Thanks.
it's just because there wasn't a permit at the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a wall there. I
There was-
just raised it 6 inches. That's terrible. You never make that
So
mistake.
you just should have got a permit.
Yeah.
I should have gotten a
Before.
permit.
Yeah, before,
Beforehand, yeah.
because it's a landmark district.
Yes.
Okay.
I think maybe anybody who's making changes like that might need a permit to check the record.
Yeah, now I know.
It's to
Yeah.
deter people from making serious
Right.
changes. They just use it as an example.
They made an example of it, yes. I've been made an example of it. I will not make that mistake again. Please.
Thank you for finding that.
Thank you.
Okay,
For future reference, what site were you on?
I honestly think I was on the same site that you were. It was just a landmark violation search.
Yeah, that's right.
nyc.gov/site.
Oh, you used the docket number, you're put up on the docket?
I didn't have the docket number. I just punched in your address.
Oh, really? Oh, all right, awesome. That was it, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Area way wall, that's the
Area way
terminology
wall.
that they used, yeah.
Can we vote now? There are. I think we have one.
You're hiding back there.
But she is the
I'm
best
comfy.
Second vote.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
We have quorum. So, I'd like to vote whether or not we agree that, that we agree that,
We approve.
we approve that.
Of the section wall rules? What is-
Area way wall.
Area way wall.
Area, vote, we have to do this. Vote, so we are voting that the area wall
installation is supported by the committee. Should we do this by roll call? Okay. I don't know.
I think we can.
Okay, well, not that many of us. If you're in favors, just say yes. If you're not, say no.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh wait, so Mina, I say yes. Drew,
Yes.
Ronisha,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
sorry. Vanya,
Yes.
the yeses have it. So we are in support.
But this now goes in front of the larger community board to also vote.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just supporting you to the
Okay.
larger community board.
Great. When would that vote happen? Because I need to let landmarks.
Tuesday in 2
The
weeks.
general board meeting is, I'll get the flyer for you, so you can know when it is, because you have to pay it now.
Okay.
2 weeks?
Usually it's 2 weeks on Tuesday, unless there's a holiday.
Well,
Just look up CB9 Brooklyn Community Board.
Thanks very much.
No, it's very easy.
It's the 24th.
And the location.
And it's at the school usually
Oh,
on
right.
61.
Thanks. All right, thanks very much,
Thank you for
everybody.
coming.
This has been really interesting. And I've been meaning to come to a community board meeting anyway, so this has been a good reason.
You're welcome to
Thank
join.
you.
Applications are open, I think, until next week.
Oh, yeah?
I thought they were in the 6th
Wait, oh, the 6th?
of February.
They're due, they're done.
Yeah.
Next year?
Next
You're
year.
welcome
Thank
to
you.
come to
But
the
bring the letter and, the other picture to the
Sure.
meeting,
No, I
just
will.
in case other people ask if they ask.
to see it.
It'd be so much easier.
I
At the
will.
larger
Thank you.
meeting, they will ask.
Okay.
So bring as much information
Okay.
as you can, just.
How did it go?
Thanks very much.
Thank you for joining
Appreciate
us.
it.
Good night, good night.
With the 195 Maple.
Next on the agenda, Prospect Park Residential Development RFP response. Dante and Fred had reached out to them, in January, and they have not responded. Friday, Dante sent another, email asking for a response, and I don't believe that we got a response yet as to more details.
Dante sent this to the NTA or
EDC.
EDC?
So that's the I just wanted an update, just to let you guys know that, we are still in a holding, waiting pattern to the questions that were asked. That's that. Can we?
Mine,
Yes.
I just want to put out there, I wanted to thank you for addressing it in your committee. The thing that we had asked them for was for a proper period of community engagement, before they put out the RFP again. And so, I would love for us to, if you guys want to work with us on that, I think that would be super, because I really think, the community deserves to have, at least one town hall, right? I think that for some of the larger sites, like that they're doing, like.
Wait, are you
Brooklyn-
talking about Clarkson or the
the Prospect Park
Prospect Park
RFP.
Residential.
Like, I know that for some of the larger sites, they're doing like the Brooklyn Marine Terminal, which to be fair is on a wholly different scale, it's like 6,000 units and commercial and all of that. They did like, a year and a half worth of public workshops and engagement. There were like 50 elected officials and community groups on their community advisory, but, we should get something, So, it's probably like better if we put it together if they're not gonna do anything. So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you. Anyone else on that? Next, on the agenda, we just wanna approve the meeting. I don't see the January,
Looking at it,
yes.
the date is wrong on this agenda. It says February 4th, it's February 9th.
No, that's the date that it was submitted.
Oh,
The
date,
date
oh,
of the,
oh,
wait,
my
which,
mistake.
which,
My mistake. You're right, I just,
The email, the
Okay.
email date.
sorry about that.
alright, we're gonna quickly, just, has everyone had a chance to look at the December housing minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, can we approve them to be included in the, packet, I guess, for the meeting? Has everyone had a chance? Any changes needed? No? Okay, so we're voting by common consent? It's not common. And the only other thing is, do we need a committee vice chair? Should we discuss that at another time, I guess, next month's meeting? Is there anyone who
Somebody
would
just
like-
run. You gotta.
Yeah, is there anyone who'd like to run for a committee vice, well, not, is it, do we have to run, or is it just an appointment?
Renisha has great best attendance, I know that.
Bernisha has a lot of studying to do.
Well, I'm just, might look good on your resume.
I promise to
It's not
come
that
to as
taxing.
many meetings, it's just really a backup, like if I can't make it.
I would need more information on the, like, overall commitment.
Me too. I'll give you the commitment part that they gave me. Will help you. That was the commitment, so I guess we will table that discussion.
Just vote, you accept it.
We'll table that.
Like, what if Mina didn't show up, You want somebody?
Unfortunately, Michael's the middle child and will show up.
Right.
That's what we do. Is there
Or
any
reschedule.
new business that needs to be discussed?
I like
Can we discuss a little more of the presentation that we just witnessed? For
Okay.
245.
But there are no more voting items. Okay. Thank you.
There are a couple members of the public here. Did you guys want to talk about housing issues or?
I guess so.
Do you have time, Lina? Is that okay?
Yes.
Give everybody 3 minutes, that's what Pat used to do, when
Okay.
she chaired, it was great.
I don't know. Okay. Hi. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Tabitha Julian. I live in the community. I just graduated from school. At NYU, someone else at NYU. But specifically, I am a housing policy and health researcher, and my dissertation focused on the health effects of health-related burdens of gentrification for rent-stabilized tenants. And I am currently, and this dissertation was sourced out of what I experienced through my thesis. Like my landlord attempted to evict me because I asked for repairs. And so I am still like being harassed like severely. I am trying to find a new place. I haven't found a job post-graduation. Public health is in shambles. And so I am actually trying to find housing because I can't take the harassment and all of the things. I've helped organize a tenants association within my building and get a lot of the apartments repaired, even for the elders, because I kind of knew if my apartment looked like that, like the rest of the tenants. And it was, this is an apartment that my aunt was in since 1970, I think, 1976. And even some of the tenants that were there, like her friend, she passed away in 2015. She no longer lives there. Their apartments were horrible. I don't know what sort of support or any sort of conversation. I'm also here to serve in any capacity, but yeah, this is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have someone you should speak with, but I think she left already.
Oh,
I'll get your information.
Okay.
You're gonna try and get her on a committee?
No, police had organized in her building also
Yes,
to help the tenants.
Well, I thought maybe.
So you come to the
She'd
housing,
be good for the
it's
committee.
essential, you should definitely come to housing.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Now that I'm out with school, like I just couldn't. It was a lot.
I know.
But now I'm like, okay, I can breathe a little bit.
I did
And
grad
so,
school, I know. I know, but, yeah. Post-traumatic disorder.
Yeah, exactly.
It's grad school, you don't even wanna read a book anymore.
And I don't need the harassment at home, so like, there's a lot of stress, I gained a lot of weight, like, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Yeah, yeah.
We're asking him to do what should be done. And
Yes.
this is what makes it bad for
Yeah.
other people, and it's a shame, but you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Forming coalition, and use and network with other buildings as well.
I did, so I started organizing with E4F to help all of the other rent stabilized
Yes,
buildings
definitely.
in Brooklyn. But also specifically what's been happening, which I didn't mention, like they've been opening my mail and reading it like
What?
since 2021. And I've emailed
That's a
Crystal
recharge.
Hudson, it is, I've
That's a
emailed Crystal
federal-
Hudson, I've emailed, I've spoke with, so Crystal Hudson's office had helped us organize a bit. But no one is helping me, I've called the cops, they're like, oh no, we can't get involved because they're.
Postal police?
I did. I called them back in 2021, but
Get them in
that
their
post
side.
office is very corrupt. Like there's tenants in the building where they submit their rent, they put it in the mailbox, and it's stolen. And they're like, oh, people are from the Bronx are coming in to like. We've had so much issues with that Elijah G. Stroud post office. That's the next thing I'm
And
going for as soon as I get healthy.
No, that's a
healthy.
different one. Where's
No,
that?
it's on Empire.
Elijah Stroud, that's not the.
That's Jeffrey Davis.
Jeffrey
Oh,
Davis.
sorry, my bad.
Okay.
My
that's
mother
fine.
used to work at 316, so
Yeah, that's what I'm like,
yeah,
no, that-
my
that's the
bad,
school one,
my
yeah.
bad, my bad. Yes, you're right. So yeah, I haven't gotten support for police and the cops, and they've like opened unemployment with my social, even the inflation check, all of the yeah. And I've gone through all of the avenues. Like I'm very competent, obviously, to like get help, and there hasn't been. So my solution right now is my mail is going to a different place, but even then, I'm seeing. When I did the mail forwarding, I'm still seeing it opened at the new place because it goes to that
To the first
the
location.
first location and
Before
then
it's forwarded.
yeah. So
That-
they just don't
that's-
like
Don't stop complaining. Write letters.
Yeah. Okay.
You fill out the form for federal, that's a federal.
Yeah.
It's a federal charge, yes, office visit.
Yeah.
You can contact like the postmaster general, and you fill out the forms, they investigate, they will investigate. They should, if they didn't investigate, They-
Contact, who's your congresswoman is Yvette Clark?
No, wait.
If you're Jeffrey Davis, what, you're in CB9?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Yvette Clark.
Yvette.
So
Yeah,
contact her office because that's your federal representative.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
May I ask you, what's your management company?
IMK management.
Are you using the website justfix.org?
Yeah.
Okay.
I use it for my dissertation. I love that website.
What is that?
There was a presentation about it last year, the justfix.org website where you can go in and look up landlords and what buildings they own. And
Yeah, they don't like me because I know things. Like,
Yeah,
got
don't
that
worry, we're gonna
together.
keep sharing all our knowledge. We're gonna let them know we know.
And of course, we've called 311.
Oh yeah.
They get violations, that's okay.
Wow, I'm sorry you're going
Yeah,
through that.
I got an alert from Just Fix, I think yesterday, that they were on the list. It's also, the building is like 286 or 300 Sullivan Place, it'll come up, yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
300 solar.
Mm.
Where's that? It's, we live on
That's
South,
not
on the
right.
corner of
That's
It's
Nostrand.
right across, it's right on Nostrand, like my apartment is on Nostrand, but it's across the street for the Arcadian. So there's like a new build,
Oh, yeah,
there's
yeah.
like a new build, but then there's an older building. And
The Plex.
The Plex, but it's across the
You're
street
across-
from the
I know
Plex,
that
yeah.
building very well.
Yeah.
I'm your neighbor.
Oh,
We're up on, Bedford and Rogers.
Sorry, you're in problems.
Any other new business?
You wanted to talk about the old building, the, presentation, who wanted to talk about
Oh,
that?
yes.
That was me. I was wondering if anyone had any comments on the presentation, but I think we only
On
have like
landlords
6
or
minutes.
on hardship?
The 245 Clarkson Avenue overview.
Okay. Cheryl,
She wasn't here for it.
I,
That's just very close to me.
It's like you
My
said, it's a
question
little
on
big.
that one is,
That was my
what is
initial,
our
like-
role in that? Were they just coming to present us?
Are they-
present
It's,
to us
it's
as an
supposed to be
FYI?
as of right.
Oh,
There's really
so
not
you
a
said they didn't
decision
need
to be
to-
made.
I just, so they're definitely going to build a nice facility.
But the question is, she brought up, she thinks that
It
the
seemed-
building is
it
a
seemed
little
like they were just
tall
here to give us an
for the zone, because it's an R6 zone, so let's.
That's what I was going, that's what I was going
Get
to
an
to see.
R6.
No,
That's the
emails
thing,
to
'cause I
see.
saw
So,
one
like,
that
that you
said-
use it
I
as
mean,
an
not,
ad,
they're
like-
not really, so there's no, full lot coverage and
Right, so what's going on the rest of the lot?
I was going through, I was like, okay,
That's
so
why I said
what
what they filed with the Department of Buildings is completely inaccurate, it's like a fake filing.
Yes.
Which is really concerning, you know, because then they won't file the accurate things until it's too late,
And
we're
we're
like,
still
okay, you can't
recording,
challenge it now. And I
and
don't,
we
I don't
should
want
use
that,
somebody,
you know.
But, so I went through it.
So they get away with that.
Should we,
They're
can
not
we,
putting parking.
we're,
so
I'm
why
sorry,
are they
you,
building it?
I
Exactly.
just wanna finish up, we just want to just say for 245 Clarkson Avenue that there was no voting item for that. It was just, I think they were just here to present to us. But, did you have any other questions on that, Ranisha?
I just wanted feedback since we are all here and most of us heard it at the same time. So to highlight more of what people's concerns were, if they didn't want to say it while the presenters were still in the room. Only because it's good for us to continue to share our concerns so everybody understands. Hopefully you could say
Totally
something.
missed it, so I have to go back and look.
I missed it too. I was wondering what the population for the building is.
It's going to be, they focused on foster, kids coming out of foster care and developmentally
Yeah.
challenged, but then when you look at the number of units and in the presentation, they mentioned that the 2 bedrooms are primarily going to be for families with the head of the household having mental issues, mentally, developmentally, substance abuse, some issues.
challenge.
And it's not
And then
written here.
67, there's
Right, it was in the
67
PowerPoint.
units, and the 47 studios.
So those 2 bedrooms are gonna target that population.
But it was a little,
supportive housing.
it was a little difficult for me to understand how many are gonna be just for that population and how many would be for just regular housing?
They were saying 40%, right?
60.
60
They said
more.
60% supportive housing,
Right.
40% affordable. And then they said that the 2 bedrooms were primarily targeted for the supportive housing, because those are families.
And they also mentioned that they will have, I think, social workers and other resources on premises because their goal for this property is to keep everything contained in one unit so that clients or residents don't have to travel to multiple places.
15-minute building, that's all they want to do.
This is the first
Did they
time.
say when it showed who's providing social services?
They heart share.
Hartshire.
Yeah, so hard.
Hartshire actually has a building directly behind it
Who does?
already, Hartshire.
Okay.
I thought they said this is their first one.
They said this is their first project.
They have, well, they have
They've
some,
distributed.
sort of like, I don't know, yeah, facility behind it, they're like, their name is like on the building that's behind it. So I don't know whether it's
Or
like a
maybe this is their
healthcare
first
facility
development,
or.
total build,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they said
Yes.
it was the first development that would house multiple, I guess, clients in one.
In one building, because they know, they usually have the distributed
Scattered
models,
site.
got it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So
the first
I
time we
was
have them all
actually
in one
wondering
place.
about that, like, are they suggesting that they would move clients from the scatter sites to this building? Or is
No.
this going to
No.
be in addition?
It's not what I thought.
It sounded as though they already have like clients that are priority on a certain list. Even though they said that they do have a lottery portion of it, but it kind of sounded like they already had a lottery. Like on their own system or people in line waiting for this house.
It's probably like the waiting, the people in line waiting are the 40 or the 60, and the other are gonna be
The
for the
60.
affordable.
The 60.
So 40% is affordable.
They said
So
that
that'll
was going
probably
through
be
housing.
lottery.
Right, that's gonna be.
And then
on
the
lot.
other one will be just placement.
Their services, their clients.
But they said the lottery, there would be some kind of prioritization for this community.
They did
Right.
not say that. They did not.
No,
They said that
They
we
said
would
they-
be included in the lottery.
They can't,
Okay.
because the city rules now are saying that the community preference is 15% for any lottery
Right.
It goes down every year.
every year.
Okay, well, there would be a certain percentage that would be prioritized, yeah.
And that would be probably in 2 years, 3 years from now, so it'd probably be zero.
It feels like zero.
Okay, so if you don't mind my saying, I guess my, you know, I didn't really get to say because I had to run out to another meeting, you know, my apologies. But I guess the two things that I would ask is, do they have any plans for a community advisory committee? That's often what we ask for with supportive housing, when people anticipate that there might be challenging populations, that there might be security issues in the area. The second thing I would ask is, like, the concentration issues, which I think you kind of brought up, like this, you all probably have the Clarkson Estates thing in your hands as well. That's a block away. That's also, you know, youth aging out of foster care and formerly incarcerated. And these are not bad things, you know, we know there's a need for this in every community. But the question is, like, how much of this is in our community already? And like, from a ULURP perspective, like, fair share is kind of something that we're asked to address under ULURP. And the fair share law only addresses homeless shelters. But I think for a lot of people on our committee, the supportive housing is also something that they think of in that way. And so, you know, one of the things that we asked our research intern to do was to try and figure out, you know, how much supportive housing and shelter beds are in our community, compared to the total population and compared with other communities. And it is, you know, we are seeing a lot of these buildings concentrated right along the southeast border. So that, you know, that is a concern. And then if in addition to that, there are all of these scatter sites, how much in total is in our community, right? And so I think those are, you know, sort of my general concerns. Other than that,
I don't have so much of an issue with the supportive housing being sprinkled around, because whether, my view of things is that whether there are people who are in supportive housing or not, if they need support, they're living in the community.
Yeah.
So they're here anyway, they're all around the city. The question is, that's why I want to know, are they gonna be, do they have to take these like the courses, the help that's there, like how? No, and since they don't, that's my only issue, is like, how are you enforcing them, people taking their medication, how are you enforcing those
And
things?
she said that they essentially don't,
They
right?
don't,
She said
yes.
it was a voluntary thing, that's what she did emphasize.
And that's my only issue, because it's great if they can get everyone to do what they're supposed to do for themselves. But being that we already have in the community people who don't do things for themselves, like how, that's the only part.
Like a net, right?
Yeah, they're a net, and it's great that they're a net, but how do you, if you can't enforce it, then what's the point of having it?
I would say traditionally when supportive housing started, there are different levels. And so like a level 2 building would be one that there's like a curfew, no gas, like medication management on site sort of things, and this is considered level 1. And so people who are level 1 are usually screened to be living with mental illness, living with HIV, substance use, but is manageable.
Okay.
Right? And so in my experience, let's say you have a building with 34 tenants, it's only 3 that would typically give a lot of trouble, right? It's just that the trouble they give is enough for like 15 tenants.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
That's my neighbor.
In this situation, I'm more familiar with CHV's project because I work with Canva. This one, Heartshare, I have to do some research on, but I could say on the record that it's a bit interesting that there are 2 buildings with this type of population so close together.
And that's not it. Those aren't the only 2 that are coming to that area.
But we
near
already
Hughes
have
County.
we do have few, even on Rogers here, right? Like, that is, I think it's another domestic violence, like.
Yeah.
But we have a lot, and we have open, like, countless open lots in the area, so people are still building, right? And it's the this one, it appears as though we don't get to vote on it, like, they're just telling us essentially that they're building that there, so.
It has a right. But what was interesting, I don't know if Suki brought it up or Christian Bob, one of them, is the height of this. They're not using the lot in a way, they're projecting with their height rather than spreading it out, which is usually, from what I understand, there's more cost savings to do that, to use the full lot rather than go up. So it's interesting that they're doing that, and they didn't really give an answer, but they did say the architect's gonna come to the next meeting, right? Is there?
I think they might be doing that because they're like over 100K people in shelters.
They might have plans for a second building in the future that they won't say.
A building wouldn't front
Yeah,
the street
so
though, right? Like,
I think if they're
there were a second.
planning on making it much bigger, they do need to get a rezoning, which means they will have to come to the UR committee. But it's really unclear right now, like that was the exchange I had with that guy that was filed with the buildings department, doesn't seem accurate at all, right? And their permits are still under review. You know, I think it is going to be a big building no matter what, but, you know, there's a difference, I think, for the surrounding community if it's 8 stories versus 11. And typically, you know, like they're not doing any parking at all. So typically, like a reason for making it taller and having more open space is to be able to use the lot for parking. But if they're not using the lot for parking, there's no reason it shouldn't be shorter and more spread out.
The parking for the people that
There's a
work
lot of
there,
people with no parking.
services.
But essentially,
that
there's
part's
people,
busy.
60%
Actually,
who
it's
serve
very busy.
realistically in New York City, even though more people are being prone to buy vehicles.
Yeah.
Are the people that are moving into the building going to have vehicles? That's the additional question, right? Like, your percentage of the population of people who are level 1, as you were explaining, like, maybe you don't have that general statistic, but are they drivers? Are they people with vehicles, or are they people who use public
Not really.
transportation?
There are.
There are a few, but
But
not.
major-
I work in 15 supportive housing buildings, and they're in the minority.
But they can, there's nothing to prevent them from having a car.
100%.
Do we need to have a conversation with, like, the police department to make sure that they're aware of the buildings that are coming into the community? I don't know if they're informed of the fact that there are gonna be some buildings that may need additional support.
But they were saying that they would have security on site, that's what they said.
But that's on site in the building. The challenge I always hear from neighbors is that, you know, things happen outside of the building. Who is kind of monitoring what's happening in the community as they're going to the bus stop or to the train station, or, you know.
But then again,
Things
for us,
happen
do
on the
we
street.
even want to see extra police forces within our community?
Well,
You
there's
don't? I want.
Are you serious?
I want
I'm not saying we
foot
don't
patrols
because
or
of
people to
the,
know.
especially what we're introducing into the community, but what I'm saying is who's to say the general population is requesting that? That was just my question.
Oh, when they, okay.
Of course, security, right? If you have these type of situations, nobody wants to have to handle that by themselves, right? You're not in the predicament or have the expertise to handle a situation like that. But again, community.
No, I'm talking about neighborhood, and I have to see if under this new administration, it's still going to be in place. We were used to neighborhood coordinating officers, NCOs, neighborhood officers that put foot patrol, they knew the community, they knew the kids, they just kind of kept an eye of what was going on, the community affairs. So they're not there, you know,
They
to
took
pull
that away.
guns out. You know, they're more,
They were more just like.
they can call in the patrol if needed, but they're just there as somebody
And
you
they
could
have
call.
meetings, like what's your
Right.
issues, and the people in my
Yeah.
neighborhood like that,
Yeah.
but now they took that all away.
They would come to our block parties, they bring the cars for the kids to look in, and, I mean, it's a very different type of, because they wanted to get back to having a friendlier relationship with the community, so that it doesn't escalate,
And that's
and you're not
valid.
afraid of calling them.
That's valid because I do see in certain communities, like the police cars represent, well, let me go outside of New York
Mhm.
City, but in Detroit, they have police communities that are representative of the community where, what you're explaining, like, they have relationships with the people who are there. But at least for me growing up, I didn't have that here. So maybe that's why I don't have that perspective. But, yeah.
I mean, it was to the point, remember one time I was coming to a community board meeting and some of the officers were on their way to the meeting. They were like, you want a lift? It was cold, I'm looking, I think I'll walk. Like, picture me getting out of the back of the van. Like, no, I don't need that screen time.
Yeah, I think they used to give people rides, right? After meetings and stuff. That's what I heard from some elderly neighbors.
The other concern I've heard often from people in the community about these buildings that are partly supportive housing and partly income restricted is there are so few units that we can apply for, right? And because most of the units are, as you said, you know, the agencies have their list and it could be people coming from outside the community. I think, you know, like people often have this hope that, okay, maybe that person in my building that has a major issue, maybe they can go live there, and so they won't be in my building
Well,
anymore.
not that they won't be in my building, but that the people that are nearby are most affected get the resources they
Right.
need since they're right there.
But then that doesn't actually happen. The agencies fill the building with clients from outside the community, and maybe there's problems, maybe there's not, whatever. And the number of lottery units that people who are low income can apply for is very limited. So I would say that's often the other concern that I hear about.
To answer that, I think I know with most supportive housing buildings, it depends on who the contract is with. So if it's with DHS, all the referrals have to come from DHS, right? They can't come from the community. And then in terms of lottery, before I know some management companies were able to like cherry pick and hand pick, but now it literally is based on your number in the application. So if a lot of people outside of a community jump in and apply before community members, they automatically have priority because of their placement.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because a lot of management
I
companies
thought
were
it would
being
just be you're in the lottery
they were
and
being
then they can
accused
live a
of
drive.
housing friends and housing people that they're familiar with. So then that got changed and it was like based on your number in the lottery.
So you could apply, if I applied for something before other people, my number would be lower and I would get a better chance.
You would,
because I
well,
knew
your
when
application
I-
would be reviewed
when I first.
first.
When it first opened.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem really fair for a lottery. Like a lottery should be like apply, and then everybody runs it at the same time. That's how school lottery works, right? You get like, everybody gets their number after everybody applied by a deadline. That seems really
Yeah, it
unfair.
really seems like the first person to click on
Because
it.
then it's, because then it's like, who gets the inside track to know, we're gonna open
When
it
a
up
building's
at,
open
you know,
on-
12:01
Yeah.
on the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really a lottery then. That's not.
No, you should probably set, it's probably possible to set alerts, right, for these websites whenever anything comes new, you get an email, so you should
That's
do
what
that.
doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah, but there should be a deadline. That's not a lottery then. That's like a
It's
manipulation.
first come, first served,
Yeah.
basically.
Because then there might be people who argue that, well, it's not fair that I can't apply for housing because I'm not in the community. There are always going to be people on the other side.
Yeah, that's a lawsuit. That's why it's lessening each year. The community members can't get in because of that very, I guess, idea. But what you're saying is very different than what I would expect from a lottery. A lottery is like everybody gets their number in, the deadline comes, and then the algorithm goes through, and then it chooses, you know.
Well,
however-
let me double check because this is something that I heard from someone in management a few years ago that I'm repeating. So let me double check, verify, and I can bring it at the next meeting.
Because I've seen comments online about sometimes these lottery applications have over 30, 50, 70,000 applicants.
Me too. Me too.
Of course.
It should work the same as when you're, you know, applying for the high schools.
That's another nightmare.
Yeah.
You have a
You know,
better chance of
lotteries-
getting into high school than getting
I
out.
think we need to discuss the lotteries, but also what happens after the lotteries. I saw an article today that said that there's some people who live in buildings who've gotten in through the lotteries or even through different programs. And once they're in the building, they're not able to use all the different amenities because
Yes, yes, a friend of mine in the city.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't use amenities and the amenities now come with fees.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So you may have gotten into a building that has.
The high-end building you're saying,
A
the
high-end
high-end building.
building,
Yeah.
but regardless, if you get
No, I'm
into a
asking
building,
what you was-
yes, yes.
I mean, it wasn't one of these buildings, you're saying a high-end building, they got in via a lottery,
Yes.
they're paying exceptionally less than other tenants, and they're not accessible to some certain amenities, yeah, that's.
Yes. And where the different amenities for, can go anywhere from $45 to in the hundreds.
Yes.
So there's the, and I,
I think that's what's going on
Yeah.
in, say, major owns,
No,
right?
I think that-
There's some small amount of housing there that was like lottery, and then most of it is like fire, but they have access to like the roof garden and a special pool and all, you know, and then oftentimes I've read too, like to your point, that these amenities for some building that somebody gets are taken away. You know, like they don't maintain them later on. The building is like, look at this, we got this, we got the gym, we got that, and then they don't maintain it. I know that 195 Sullivan, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
that had a gym and stuff downstairs, you know, some, you know, mixed housing, and then all that is gone now. Or, you know, they had a gym, but they took it away. Now they're trying to rent out that space, so it's just something that people, you know, the amount of money people have to pay for an apartment now, it's insane, and then they, you know, they end up with a high heating bills too, like, what the hell?
Quick question, I know the gentleman here has mentioned like the noise complaint, the noise being an issue for that Clarkson area, which I agree, I mean, I'm someone that was dealing with some mental health stuff through school, but how do you think that's gonna affect, since you said, I think, tier one of, level one of the supportive, the
You mean like
the clients that are gonna come, yeah, in that neighborhood, you don't think that's gonna be okay? Okay.
Can you repeat your question? Did you say something about noise?
Yeah, the gentleman that was sitting here that had left.
Chris mentioned that, Clarkson Avenue, where this,
Yeah,
where
it's
245
busy.
Clarkson would be, that it's already a busy neighborhood. So her question is, how is that gonna affect people who have mental health issues who may be impacted by more noise?
Like they're agitated by it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I guess their caseworkers may decide that they don't live at that location, I don't know, or how.
Just not have a street facing.
They've got a brand new grocery store over there, really nice one.
Right, because that's where the new Lincoln Market
Yeah,
is, right? Where the dollar
they got a really nice grocery store right near that.
So just another question in terms of the screening, are they required to be employed to maintain housing?
For supportive housing?
Yeah.
And then what happens if, you know, these kids that are in this foster program, they get in there, do they get booted out after a certain age, or do they get to stay there forever? Like, what happens to them?
Supportive housing, you could stay there for as long as you want.
For kids aging out of foster care?
Up until, so, in their 30s, if they, okay.
Well, what if they
Get it subsidized?
well, if they get like a good job, they're like, you know, then do they have to move out? Is it equal?
Well, it's a program that's paying.
Are they?
It
Well, depends on
depends.
which one
It
it is.
depends on if it's an HPD subsidized building or non-HPD. Let's say it's a non-HPD subsidized building and someone comes in on public assistance or let's say SSI and their rent is based on 30% of their income. And after 5 years, they land like a 100K job.
Right.
They will not lose their housing, and they cannot be charged more than what the market rent is for the apartment.
But they can raise
The rent can be raised, but if
That's definitely-
let's say the rent for the unit is $600, and someone makes $4,000, but they're in supportive housing, and so 30% of their income plus a subsidy for Con Ed puts their rent at $1,200, let's say. They cannot be charged more than $600.
So, if I might say, this was actually an issue that came up with the city planning commissioners when they were talking about City of Yes. One of the commissioners kept asking, so are we going to, you know, like when people's incomes change, when people get income restricted apartments, but their incomes change, do we move them out? And, you know, this might not be a popular opinion, but I'm just repeating what she said. She was like, we will never be able to build enough low-income housing if, you know, this housing can just be indefinitely occupied by people with much higher incomes. So, you know, but at the same time, you know, if it's another apartment, like a rent stabilized apartment, yeah, you can stay there as long as you want, no matter how high your income gets, right?
Some, I know with HPD, if your income changes significantly, your rent will go up.
Will go up.
Yes, absolutely. So there's some people in some of our HPD buildings who pay, if the rent is $16.65, that's what they pay because of their income.
But nevertheless, it's a unit that's not available to a new low-income person, and
Unless they move out or
so
get evicted or
You'd
something.
want to like circulate, right? Like
I mean, back in the day, there used to
Yeah.
be transitional housing,
Yeah.
so it was supposed to be transitional, where you spend like 1 to 2 years and then you move on. And then somewhere it kind of got lost in the fray.
Things got too expensive.
Yeah, but
People
then,
move.
I see one of the young ladies that was here last
She always
month,
comes, I wish she was
she,
here tonight.
she was talking about the fact that she's trying to understand what's the process for an affordable unit, not a new development, already exists, person moves out. How does that affordable unit get back under circulation?
Affordable or supportive housing.
Affordable.
Okay.
And she's like, it seems to be up to the landlord, and in many cases, the landlord just happens not to put it back on the market, back into Housing Connect or whatever the lottery is. So it's like a little gap
And
there.
so they never come back into the lottery system, so they just.
Rent stabilized, or we're talking about the Housing Connect rent
Housing
stabilized?
Connect, Housing Connect.
That's why they have to keep building, you know?
Or like a
IT
unit
is a
that a
very-
So
voucher,
you're saying
you
that
can
they
use a
have like
voucher
a
for.
community unit, someone moves out, they don't put it back up for the lottery and they just rent it privately?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to rent
But
it
I-
either way because they need money for it, but I can't speak to community.
I think sometimes
Right,
they-
okay, so
they
that,
keep
we're
them-
just trying to understand if that's a little gap there, cause it's basically like an honor system.
But
Right.
sometimes the tenants, because in my building that I stay in, it's an older building from like the 1920s. But it's not essentially the same, but he was explaining before I was able to get my new lease was that before he could actually give it to me, he had to take it to court for them to get permission, for him to rent it out to another person. Because
What happened to the
There are a lot
original
of
person?
community tenants who sublet their apartments. They've moved to different places and they sublet to other people.
But the landlord who owns the building, the previous tenant that were living there, it was rent stabilized, right? So I don't know what the agreement was, but it was registered, I guess, with the county or the government essentially. So I couldn't just move into the apartment. So he had to go to court and get permission in order for him to take a new tenant in that apartment.
Really?
But it was not rent stabilized, it was what he wanted to charge you though, right?
He probably wanted
It was-
to
it
up
was
it
his-
more than the percentage.
Right,
No,
but no, but it was a rent stabilized, but he had to go to court to.
Get it, to take it off.
Okay, okay,
un-
so he wanted to charge with it, okay.
Okay, he wanted
Why
to
didn't he
take
just
it
rent
off
it to
of
you
rent
rent stabilized?
stabilization.
Because,
Right,
I honestly cannot.
that's what he wanted,
Yeah,
he
he wanted
didn't
more
want it
money.
to be rent
Because
stabilized.
majority of the
course.
building is already rent stabilized.
Gotcha.
The people who've been living in that building, they've got it from their grandparents or their
gotcha,
aunts.
and it's just
Right.
passed on to
And
us.
he was like, I finally have
So
an
now this is an
opportunity
opportunity to make it,
market.
okay,
Exactly.
take it off, okay.
So,
Well, obviously he did it because you got the apartment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
so essentially it's like these different rules and regulations that they have going on, they're slowly stripping the rent stabilized apartments out from under us because people are always saying, let's get rent stabilized, but now they found a way to get rid of the rent stabilized apartments from the buildings, essentially.
It's not gonna work for everybody.
Yeah, I don't have a complete, story behind it, but.
You just want to.
You just want to please. No. That's not what happened. So my dad lives in the apartment and he lives in the building and he has multiple units and I wanted a unit in the building. I don't know the agreement behind that.
Dad owns the building.
No.
Oh.
My dad does not own the building. My dad
Are
has
we,
a unit.
I'm sorry, just because we have personal information.
Yeah.
Should we, adjourn the
Oh,
meeting?
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank
Would
you.
you like to adjourn it? Okay. Do I need a seconded or something?
Yeah.
Seconded.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maya, that was
Okay,
Thank you.
no, I
Thank
just
you.
don't want your personal
Right,
information.
We said he gives that.
Right.
Okay, so,
They can't see it.
because, yeah, but, yeah, I don't.
But we're gonna turn off.